Do you know what? That was a really boring intro. I'm sorry. Let's get this party started. Hey, super legends, superheroes, and megastars. Welcome to another episode of Hot Hire 6 and 7 figure coaches on fire. Today, I am super excited because we've got an absolute super legend in the house. And I'm really just so excited about the conversation that we're about to have, because we're going to be talking about elite performance and also no FAP. And a little secret, I've tried not to masturbate for 11 days and it was really hard, really bloody hard. So if you guys are watching live, show us some love, ask us some questions as well. And if you are watching the replay, you know what to do. Hashtag replay. Let's get this legend out here. So I want to give a massive warm welcome to Paddy. How are you, legend?
Going well, Dre. Going well, legend. How are you?
I am Almuzzen. Absolutely amazing, sensational. All right, so we've had a few chats. So we caught up on Friday, and about what I love about you is just your level of thinking. Because the way that you think is, I'd love to be able to think like that. So I'm training myself to do it. But we're in the same mastermind. The questions that you ask are just a different planet, and I love it because it's like, oh, curious. So Paddy, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that, Dre. Like, curiosity is my biggest thing. It's one of the things that probably really drives me. And it's almost how I got into coaching, is the curiosity of how our minds work. Like, what are we capable of? And so for me, I've done a lot of like endurance events. I've done, working as an engineer, and kind of combined those two into like, how can you understand the mindset? How can you solve the problems that we face every single day? Like, it's the self-doubt. It's almost the things of like when you're 5 and you've got like that little fear, the little doubt under your bed, and like it's that monster in the closet that we just don't want to deal with. And like, how are we able to move past that? That's kind of what coaching and mindset stuff is. And you see these massive monsters in these endurance events, like the doubt, the fear. You kind of put off some of those decisions, but how do you work your way through?
All right, Paddy, I want to know, how can you go from being an engineer to being an elite performance coach? That's completely like two different things.
Oh yeah, like I sometimes like kind of wonder how the two came together. But like, you kind of ask yourself, like, it's the first thing everyone says is like, engineers aren't usually the people type. Like, they're not usually engaging. Like, it for most people, like psychology, philosophy, are like quite different, but they're similar. That like, it's problem solving. Engineers are really good at adapting to different situations. Like, throw them in a business, throw them in different situations. We can solve problems. We get to like pull apart problems, like figure out the ideas, and then find a solution to that. And that's almost what we do, except usually I've done it on bridges. I've done it on like big infrastructure projects across like Melbourne, but this is about mindset. This is about, what does it actually take for someone to, push past the limiting beliefs, the things within themselves. So it's just a changing context, effectively.
All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, so you need to talk to me about these events that you do, because like for me, I could not imagine running like 24 hours. That would be complete torture for me. And I guess I'm built for short distances and maybe a little bit lazy as well. So how do you, talk to me about the mindset and the beliefs around doing something, doing events like that.
Yeah, like, it's something that I just almost fell into in a spot that like, you just kind of level up from each thing. Like, I initially started with the marathon and like having that as an idea, and going to the concept of, well, what's the next level for me? And that was like an Ironman. And then where do you go from the next level? Like, you go to, 100K, or that was at least the thought process in my mind. It's a little different to what most people do, but like, I kind of realized early on that I was never going to be like a sub 2 hour marathoner, or like, maybe if I put a lot of time into it, I could be sub 3 hour, but that didn't feel like anything special, anything unique to me. And so I wanted to push myself in something that most people don't really try to or don't really dare to, even though I feel like it could be possible for most people if you valued it enough and put time into it.
Okay, all right. So you're saying that you started off at a marathon. All right, I'm thinking that you must have had to start off like somewhere else. So was there something, like some sort of catalyst that happened when you were like younger, or have you always been like, as soon as you were born, all right, I'm gonna run some marathons, or like how did that all come about?
Yeah, like since I came out of the womb, like marathon every single day. That was the prep. Marathon every single day, like go hard, go home, like a long time. No, I think that's always the beauty of it, was that when I was in year 10 or year 11, I was not fit at all. I was like very overweight and wanted to start rowing. And I remember like one time we had like a 3K time trial. First day of rowing camp. I'm overweight, like probably the second biggest person. The shortest, but like second biggest of everyone in there. And before we had to do this 3K time trial, there was a 1K warm up. And I thought, my God, this 1K warm up, whoa, isn't this the run? Like, is this not the session? Like, and like I remember, like that first 3K was so slow, so hard that you always kind of get addicted to the ability to get better or find something within yourself. Just kind of stuck with it, and from there the momentum grew into changing what I believe was possible for me.
I love that. All right, let's talk about no faps. So we were talking before, and you have lasted 4 months like no fap. So right, just so I'm clear in my head, so is no fap, is it where you don't masturbate or you just don't ejaculate, or like what's your understanding of it?
Yeah, just like no masturbation, no nothing, no self gratification, no porn, none of that sort of stuff that we probably all do quietly somewhere. Like it's not really like oh no, we're all angels, we're all like people of perfect ability. And that was like 4 months. Like it wasn't something that I just did. It was something that I attributed to before the Ironman. Before I did that, I had 3 things that I told myself before I was going to do the event that I wasn't going to do. One of them was drink alcohol. Like it's hard for most, but it was pretty simple for me because I didn't drink that much. The only time I drank was in like social situations, and there was a wedding or two that was hard to get through, but for the most part, it was pretty simple. Second thing was cold showers. 4 months, only cold showers, no hot showers at all until after the Ironman. Like I was so committed to this that like I went for a 2K swim in a pool, like start of summer. And so the solar heating hadn't kicked in. And because it was so cold and I was moving through the water, I couldn't warm up. So like I'm shivering, like 2Ks in, I'm like shivering. And like I get into the change room, I've got to go, am I committed to this? Like, do I really want to do this? And so I'm like, yeah, no, I got to do this cold shower. Do the cold shower, get all the chlorine off. And like I'm shivering for an hour afterwards. I got like the hoodie on, the snow jacket on, like just trying to like warm up. And then the third thing was no fap. And like they all had a different belief that I was trying to accomplish with it. And I think like that was like the ability to push past or like hold off on, like just getting that instant gratification. For me, it was something that like at the time everyone talked about. Like all the guys, like you talk about, no fap, like that's a thing, like makes me like Superman. Like as your kid, like who do you want to be Superman? Like you're like, there's no kryptonite here. I've got to find something, and I thought that that's what it would do. So that's how it kind of came about.
Did it help? Because I've heard like Kerwin Ray speak, and he talks about that he done it, and that's when his business like really took off. Like, and I've tried it. I know not longer than 4 months, like 11 days, and I probably cheated. Yeah, definitely cheated. Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. I cheated. Does it work, or does it depend? Oh, I don't. Does it work?
I feel like it does. Like I haven't done it that long since, and I've played with the idea every now and again, like pardon the pun, but it's I feel like it does have a value. I think I'm not sure from a female perspective, but from a guy's perspective, I think there's something about the hormones, something to do with like our masculinity. I think for me, it comes back to the idea of I went to an all boys school, and there's always this like debate whether you should go to an all boys, all girls, or mixed co-ed. And guys really perform well in co-ed because there's girls there. Like, they got to impress the girls. Like, we're going to show up.
Yeah.
Like, it's there. Like, but girls, they perform better in like all female schools because there isn't the distraction of the guys. And so, yeah, it's weird. And so I'm kind of thinking that it's like the idea that you want to impress like the female in there. So it's like you're holding back on it. Like, that's kind of the psychology I kind of think. And so as guys, we want to impress like the females in our lives, like our partners or people around us. And so I think that's just one of the ways that like we get, we start to disassociate from putting them on a pedestal of what it is. And it's just almost like that drive, the masculinity, the testosterone in us that kind of gets up leveled, which translates into business, which translates into sport, which translates into other areas.
Awesome. Love that. All right. So can you talk to us about your clients? So what are some of the biggest frustrations, I can't even say the word, frustrations, challenges, and things that are common with like you and your clients, or that you see with from your clients?
Yeah. One of the biggest ones is like self-doubt, like the negative self-talk, like the ability to not really believe in themselves. Like, I had one client that had lost all this weight, but still didn't have the confidence in herself to be able to step into that person who she was. She still like mentally was like the person that she was a year ago, the person that was 30 kilos heavier, and so wasn't confident enough to be in that space. And so it was shifting the way she spoke, shifting the way she thought, like her beliefs about herself. And like through like 3 months, it really changed and shifted her perspective enough that she became confident enough to go to like a festival, like a music festival, and just feel confident. Like, it's the thing that it's only small. Like, it's a small thing that we don't attribute to much, but like the feeling of being confident is massive. Like the feeling of being okay with where you are and how you experience that moment is really valuable to most people, but we don't really associate that.
So is that similar to sort of, like shifting her identity? So she's no longer that person, but she's this new person who believes in herself. She's confident and blah, blah, blah. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it's that sort of stuff. It's like the self-doubt, like building the confidence in yourself. And some people like might have been successful before, had success in other areas, but can't quite see the success in what they're doing. Like people that are super successful in business, but then, when they come home, they feel like a different person. Like they might have been successful in a business years ago, and life gets in the way. You have kids, and you go, "Hey, like I was that person. I want to be that person again. How do I move past that self-doubt and self-fear that's built up over the years to step into who I really want to be the best version of myself?"
All right, I love that. Thanks for sharing. All right, so you've got a podcast. You got a new podcast, yeah? So can you tell us what it's called and a little bit about that? And
yeah, love it. Like nothing like listening to a podcast, like chucking it in the ears, as you're driving, that sort of thing. The podcast I'm developing is always go far. I want to be able to figure out what it takes for people to go far. Like how to unlock that mindset. What are the beliefs? What are the thinking? What are the tricks that they're using that allow them to go further or on that path?
oh man, I like the sound of that. And where can we watch, or where can we listen?
Yeah, so just Spotify, Google, like all the places, it should be somewhere there, just like yourself. Like it's exciting.
Excellent. All right, and say if there is someone that's watching has maybe started coaching, and they're like maybe thinking about giving up, or they're thinking, oh, actually, I want to be a coach, I want to help people. Do you have any advice? Because what we do is, excuse my language, bloody hard, and it is an emotional like roller coaster. So do you have any advice for people wanting to get into the industry?
Yeah, for sure. The biggest thing within the industry is the belief. It's that imposter syndrome. It's moving past yourself. Like the ability to exceed quickly is to move past the levels of belief. So I almost like to think about it as if like a 5K was a belief level, in order to go to 10K, you got to move past that belief instead of a distance. You got to see yourself in a different level. That's the key to unlocking the game. But it's simple, but it's really hard to be able to move past those beliefs if you can't see that within yourself.
Man, that was gold. That was absolute gold. I love that. All right. So say if there's people watching, people listening and thinking, "Oh, I love this Paddy guy. I want to work with him." Do you have any sort of like challenges or workshops coming up?
Yeah, I do actually. On the 19th of June, starting on a Sunday night, it's mindset mastery. We unpack what it takes to remove your biggest challenge, like to go in deep and like how do we remove that? Like it might be procrastination, it might be fear, it might be like not understanding yourself, it might be that negative self talk. And so we go in and deep dive and figure out what that thing is for you and how to move past that and remove it. And so that's coming up. So if you're interested, let us know.
Definitely get on it, guys. Because I remember, because I done one of your challenges like last year, and it was like fire. And I was just really impressed at your knowledge and like the techniques, and it was a lot of fun. So make sure you jump on that, guys. All right. So where is the best place for people to get hold of you?
Yeah, the best place to find me is on Facebook, just on my personal profile. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, all the usual places, just under Patrick Farnan, as you do. And then just got a website, patrickfarnan.com. But probably Facebook's the best place to come and find me.
All right, love it, love it. All right, my final question. So you know that I'm obsessed with dad jokes. So do you have a dad joke, something motivational, something inspirational, something empowering, something of value that you would like to leave us with?
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you a dad joke and then I'll give you something more inspirational. Like I had to come deep. I had to come prepared. I had to do my research. And so what I found was, asked my mate in North Korea, how's it going? He said, can't complain. And so it's the way that we move past these experiences. One of the inspirational things I want to move to give you is like it is belief. Like it is the ability to believe in yourself. That's the aim of the game, to find that next level within yourself. So what is it that you need to believe in that you haven't before? That's the secret.
Paddy, you are an absolute super legend. So I just want to say a massive, huge thank you to you. Well, in the mastermind that we're in, like you are one of the people that stand out because you're always asking really good quality questions. And whenever we catch up, like you give me so much value and I appreciate that. I appreciate who you are. And I just love it that you are you and you're there to help like so many like other people, especially in our community as well. So I honor you, I salute you, and thank you so much for coming on today, legend.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Dre. Appreciate you so much. Love your energy. Like you always bring it. So appreciate you, mate. Like it's never unseen. You're just everywhere. So appreciate you too, mate.
You are